outgrow photo. In this video, I'm going to share with you two of my favorite freeware programs that save me hours of work every week. The first one is for collages. The second one is for batch editing photos. And if you're like me, you like free stuff. That's probably why you're watching this video. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, the first one here is called Photoscape. You can get it from photoscape.org, and this program has quite a few different features, but the only one that I personally use and care about is the page feature, and this is basically a collage creating feature, and I love it because I know I can make collages in Photoshop. I actually have a video for that if you really want to learn how to make your own, but sometimes I just want to drag and drop a photo, use a quick template, and get quick results. And this program does it for me. So over on the left is the browser. I actually don't use that, so I'm going to minimize that to the left. Over here on the right is another tab that has all the different layouts, and there's a lot of layouts here. Almost everything you could need for basic square, mosaic type layouts. I really like the selection. They can have vertical and horizontal versions of each one. You just got to find it. You can set the resolution. So if I'm doing a web post, I'll usually do 2048 by 2048. If I want to do an exact square, you can zoom out on the bottom. You've got margin, which is the space in between each photo, and then round, which will round the corners of each photo. So I'm going to click on the layout here, and I'm going to quickly drag and drop some photos into it by bringing up one of my folders over here. I'm going to resize it over here. I just like to have the visual. I know I can use the browser, but I just don't. So all you got to do is just drag some in there. It's very quick and very easy. All right, there we go. So once you have your photos drag and dropped, you can of course click and pan them up and down or left and right, depending on the size of the photo. If you put your mouse over on the corner, very carefully, you can see you can resize it. Where is it? Oh, there. Oh, it's very sensitive. There we go. Yeah, it's easier if you zoom in. Scroll down, you can click on the corner and you can zoom in. Then of course, move it back down. Very easy. After that, I would save and post it. I find that there's a lot of value in a properly used collage, whether it's for an advertising or if you want to quickly send someone, hey, here's an example of a shoot I did or what my style looks like. And they don't have to scroll through photos. You just look at one nice collage. So I really like Photoscape for that feature. All right, the other program that I use is Irfan. You can get Irfan from Irfan. That's IRFANview.com. This program comes in 32 and 64-bit versions, and it can do all kinds of amazing tasks for an image. For example, I'm going to open up one image here, just going to drag and drop it. And now if I go to image, I've got all kinds of things such as rotate, flip, add border, change canvas size, show channels, replace color, create tiled images. There's even effects here, red eye reduction. Who even uses that anymore? I don't know. Swap colors. And lots of really in-depth stuff. If you want to get technical, this is a program that you need. However, I only use this for one specific feature. Again, the name of the game is to find the tools for the right job. And I am lucky to have found these two tools because they do the right job for what I need. So what I use Irfan for is actually it's batch processing. So when you open Irfan, you get this black screen normally without the image here. Just hit the letter B for batch. And you get this little dialog here. So what I use this for is batch processing a photo shoot. Normally, my main task for Irfan is I use it to shrink all my finished images into web-sized JPEGs, and I put it into another folder. So I know that these are my web-sized ones, and the originals are my full-size ones, which I would use for printing. Now you're probably saying, well, you can use Lightroom for that, or you can even use Photoshop for that. Didn't you know that, Daniel? Or are you a noob? What's wrong with you? Well, yes, I can re-export my photos from Lightroom, but what if I've exported them from Lightroom full size and then done retouching on them as JPEGs using Photoshop? Now I can't use Lightroom to export as small versions because I've done touch-up on them using Photoshop, and that is my workflow. I finish my Lightroom work, I export as JPEGs, then I use Photoshop to retouch those JPEGs, do retouching, special effects, cleaning up the image, compositing, whatever, and then they're done. But really, I'm not truly done because I will create these web-sized JPEGs for the actual uploading, and that's what I actually deliver to my clients is web-sized JPEGs, which is 2048 pixels along the longest edge of the photo. So let me show you how I do my resizing. It's really easy. Once you get your settings set, you don't ever have to touch them again. So I open up my JPEG folder here of this photo shoot, type Control A to select all the photos. I'm going to drag them into this empty area, and here we have all the images here. You can also navigate to the folder up here and press Add All, and the same thing will happen. Just make sure you got all the right images here in the right folder. So once they're all listed here, if I press Start Batch, whatever I have selected in these settings over here on the left will happen to all these images. Now, there's a lot of options you can do for batch conversion. You can do batch rename, which is really cool. It actually doesn't touch the images at all. It will only rename your image, and you can have all kinds of stuff. I have misspelled names on a wedding export, and all 2,000 photos had the wrong last name. So what I did was I opened them all up in Irfan view. I fixed the spelling of the last name, did the batch rename, and voila, my problem was solved. So what I do is I do batch conversion and rename resulting files. So first, I'm going to select JPEG. Then I'm going to go to Option and make sure my quality is all the way up. Click OK. Then I'm going to go to Advanced. This is where the real meat and potatoes is. And I am using this for resizing. So I check resize, set new size, and then set long side to 2048 pixels. Right there is what you need for Facebook. And I think it's also a good size for Instagram uploads as well. Also, make sure to check preserve aspect ratio and use resample function. If you don't do this, you'll get some weird pixelization and it won't look nice. But make sure resample is turned on. You can also turn on override existing files in case you're redoing a mistake and you wanted to just totally overwrite the old ones with the new ones. Check that. If you want to add an overlay text, you can do this, which is really nice. I can add like the image name on the bottom left if I'm doing some kind of proofing. I can also add my watermark image here, just like you do in Lightroom. Center, left, which corner, you can offset it. You can add transparency. So if I want to batch add my watermark to a bunch of images and it's too late to do it in Lightroom, then this is what I use. So I'm going to turn that off. Click OK. Down here is the file name pattern. So $in is the original file name, and then _web. So it's going to be Gavigans-1_web is the new web size version of image number 1. Down here is the output folder. So $D means the original directory that the images are already in. If you just leave it $D /, it's going to put them right back into the original directory. I like to keep things separated and organized, so I make a subdirectory called web. It'll create it for you, and I'm going to press start. Look at that. It's going through each image. It's resizing it by 2048 pixels on the long edge, renaming them as well. And you can see the output here is Gavigans_web for all these. Okay, I'm done. So 82 files, 0 errors, 0 warnings. That's great. You can press return to batch to come back here. You may have made a mistake the first batch you did, so you may want to come back here and fix it and just keep that there. But first I'm going to check on my resulting files. So here is the folder that they all came from. And look, there should be a web folder right here. And all the files are named Gavigans-number and then _web. All of them have _web. That way, if this file gets misplaced or emailed or previewed somewhere, if I just find this file in 10 years, I know, oh yeah, that was a web-sized version from that shoot. That's why it's small. So this saves me a ton of time. Because of my workflow, I do Lightroom first and then Photoshop, usually, not all the time. But even then, I don't want to go back to Lightroom and re-export as smaller sizes because it's reading from the RAWs. It's going to take a long time. This only took, I don't know, like 10, 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. Very quick and efficient. Lightroom, not so much. It would have probably taken 10 minutes to do all this. So there you have it. Those are my 2 favorite freeware programs that I use with almost every photo shoot. I hope you enjoy them. If you have any questions about them, ask in the comments down below. And if you have any free programs that are game changers that you use in your workflow regularly, let me know as well. Thanks for watching and have a great week. I'm going to share with you 2 of my favorite freeware programs that save me hours of work. I can see you. You need to sit back in your